Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we sift through the most complex sources you send us and extract the critical high-value knowledge you need. Today we are taking a sledgehammer to one of the biggest bottlenecks in commercial property management. I'm talking about the utterly complex, just exhausting process of real estate contract management. And we're going to focus specifically on leases. If you're in this industry, you know the pain. You feel it. We're talking about these massive legal documents, right? They govern multi-million-dollar relationships, and every single detail matters. But the process of managing them is still, so often, rooted in manual, meticulous, paper-intensive labor. It's just hundreds of hours spent reading, interpreting really nuanced legal jargon, and then trying to organize all that sprawling data. It's high-risk work for, frankly, low reward.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just the sheer volume of paper that kills efficiency. It's the variability, the complexity. I mean, think about a standard commercial lease. It can be incredibly long, and no two are ever really alike. They're packed with complex language and these, high-stakes variables, things like unusual rent escalations tied to some obscure index, or renewal options you have to track years in advance. And if you miss one small clause during that initial review, that can lead to a multi-million-dollar problem down the road.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to explore the complete execution playbook for integrating artificial intelligence to handle this entire contract lifecycle. We're looking at firms are moving from, manual interpretation to automated insight. How do you handle everything from that initial data abstraction all the way to strategic renewal forecasting?
Yeah.
Basically, how do you turn what used to take legal teams weeks into a matter of hours?
To answer that, you have to start with the foundational engine, right? How does an AI system even consume a 50-page legal document and reliably know what the rent amount is versus, say, a security deposit? AI-driven contract automation, it relies on two core pillars, natural language processing, or NLP, and machine learning algorithms. NLP is the absolute key here. It's what allows the system to move beyond a simple keyword search and actually read, understand, and interpret human language.
So it's not just finding the phrase annual rent increase.
No, not at all.
It's understanding the structure of the clause, the relationship it creates, and the specific rate or calculation it's dictating.
Precisely. To get a little technical for a moment, it uses things like named entity recognition to tag every party, every date, every monetary value. And then it uses what's called relationship extraction to link all those things together. It learns that party A, the tenant, owes X dollars to party B, the lessor, by a certain date. And by leveraging machine learning, the system is just constantly getting smarter, training on massive data sets of real estate contracts. The outcome is transformative. The system can automatically extract, interpret, and categorize this critical data with an accuracy a human just couldn't sustain.
That deep technical foundation is essential, but really, the rubber meets the road in the workflows. So the engine is built on NLP. Where does it start to drive real value? Our sources outline 4 essential automated workflows that define this AI playbook. Let's start with the first and maybe the most critical step, lease abstraction. This is that process of pulling all the essential stuff, rent, lease terms, renewal options, out of the dense legal text.
Right. And historically, this is where all the time goes. It's a huge time sink. For a portfolio with, say, a big acquisition of new properties, manual lease abstraction can legitimately take legal teams or paralegals weeks per batch. And that creates massive delays in getting those assets integrated. The AI solution just collapses that timeline. These AI tools use those NLP models that have been trained specifically on real estate law. They automatically identify and extract these key terms. Think about the complexity of rent structures alone. The AI doesn't just read the number, it confirms the calculation behind it. It can track clauses on CPI adjustments, percentage rents, fixed rate escalations, you name it.
That is a huge differentiator. The risk isn't just missing a number, it's misunderstanding the math behind it.
Exactly. And the sources suggest firms doing this can see a reduction in manual legal spend on abstraction alone by up to 60%.
Wow.
It lets your specialized staff focus on, revenue-generating activities instead of months of document review.
Okay, so once that data is extracted and structured, the next step is to put it to work finding potential landmines. That brings us to the second workflow, contract review and risk assessment.
This is where AI basically functions as this always-on, hyper-vigilant internal auditor. It automatically flags any clauses that pose a financial or legal risk to the business based on standards you've already defined. So, for instance, the system can compare the language in a lease against your company's preferred boilerplate. It can instantly highlight unusual terms or flag deviations or identify clauses that are just, well, bad for you, like a maintenance obligation that heavily favors the tenant.
Okay, I have to ask a challenging question here because we hear about AI bias all the time. If a firm's historical contracts are, full of old, unfavorable terms, maybe they were just bad negotiators 10 years ago, doesn't training the model on those documents just automate bad habits?
That is a fundamentally important question, and it speaks to why you need a rigorous execution playbook. The AI isn't just trained on what you have, it's trained on what is correct. You don't just feed it all your old documents blindly. You feed it documents that are labeled with your current best practices and industry benchmarks. The AI's job is not to replicate your history. Its job is to identify where a new contract deviates from your current standard.
I see. So it forces a cleanup.
It forces organizational cleanup and adherence to modern policies.
Exactly.
That handles the risk side. Now let's move from dealing with current issues to planning for the future. The third workflow is all about strategy. Lease renewal forecasting. This has traditionally relied on, spreadsheets and calendar reminders. It's very prone to error. What's fascinating here is how AI transforms this reactive, deadline-driven task into something truly predictive and strategic. AI automates forecasting using predictive analytics. It doesn't just look at the lease end date, it synthesizes all this data. Internally, it analyzes the tenant's payment history, maintenance requests, things like that. But externally, it's pulling in current submarket vacancy rates, rent trends for similar properties, even local economic indicators.
So it's building a probability model for retention.
Precisely. The AI assesses the financial likelihood of a tenant renewing or the probability of them leaving. This lets real estate professionals get in front of key tenants months in advance with customized renewal offers, optimized for retention and profitability. It's a massive step up in asset management.
Okay, so finally we have to address the logistics. Beyond the sophisticated analysis, AI has to handle the day-to-day management of just the sheer volume of paper, and that's the fourth key workflow: document management and storage.
Yeah, and this improves organization and audit readiness exponentially. AI is essential for creating structure from chaos. It automatically tags, indexes, and stores all the lease agreements, the amendments, related emails, everything in one centralized, searchable place. So you can instantly search for something super specific like show me every lease with a CPI-based rent increase that expires in Q4 next year. It just makes every compliance check, every audit, drastically simpler.
And crucially, this automation loop can extend to creating new documents too, right? It's not just filing.
Absolutely. AI-powered systems can also automate the generation of new standardized contract documents or amendments. This ensures they're compliant with the original agreement and with the company's current legal standards every single time. It just eliminates human error in drafting.
So we've walked through the mechanics, the four core pillars of the playbook: abstraction, risk review, forecasting, and management. Now let's wrap this up with a big question. So what does this all mean? What are the bottom line tangible benefits?
The impact is transformative. First, the efficiency and speed gain is immense. Like we said, a process that took weeks of tedious paralegal time can now be done in hours. That's a huge shift.
And that ties back to what we said earlier about accuracy and consistency. A human gets tired, makes mistakes. An AI system doesn't. So you reduce the risk of really costly mistakes, like miscalculating rent or missing a critical deadline.
And that links directly to better risk management. The AI is a powerful early warning system. By analyzing all this data, it spots trends and potential risks that would just go unnoticed in a manual document-by-document review.
And you can't forget the customer side of it. The tenant relationship has to improve when operations are this smooth.
It absolutely creates a better tenant experience. You have real-time, accurate insights. If you can instantly confirm a clause or streamline a renewal, you're building transparency and trust, and that leads directly to better retention.
And the sum of all these parts is, ultimately, significant cost savings.
That's the punchline. You lower your operational costs because you need less manual labor, and you avoid those really expensive contract errors. Often, the cost of overlooking one critical date is far greater than the cost of the AI system itself.
So what does this all mean? Our sources are crystal clear on this. Integrating AI contract automation into real estate is no longer optional. It's a massive, necessary game changer. It streamlines workflows, it optimizes decision-making, and it transforms what used to be a legal headache into a strategic asset.
Absolutely. The technology is maturing so quickly, and firms that embrace this playbook now, they gain an immediate competitive advantage. They position themselves as leaders in efficiency and accuracy, and that just fundamentally changes their ability to manage assets profitably. This raises an important question, though. The technology is proven, the benefits are undeniable, but success isn't just about buying some software. To really implement this and get these benefits, firms have to follow a well-defined execution playbook that focuses heavily on their own internal standards first. The real challenge, the true foundational step, is building that playbook. It requires firms to audit and define their data standards before the AI tools are even turned on. That foundational cleanup, that's the real determinant of future success.